Um, so I've been watching Snake's Plisskenist, which is interesting of why do that. But, it's because he is like, in a good sense, an Asperger like of biology. Um, and yet, just accepting the folk idiocies about men and whatnot. So he's talking about how white men are going to win from the identity because they don't have an identity and they shuck off they don't care, and they don't let their emotions worry them and stuff. They don't have an identity in this identity politic game. And then he goes on to describe what the identity is that they have. And I'm like, well, that's not true. There's a lot of these whiny guys. What are you talking about? And he's like, well, we wouldn't count them as real men. So that's the real Scotsman fallacy in glorious color. And it's just, right now we're having a veritable movement of whiny men declaring how women and minorities are taking over. And historically, too, men are supposed to get all emotional. Like if you say anything about their mother, or you put them down or call them a fag, they're supposed to get super mad. Oh, but they're not supposed to cry, so it's not an emotion. Crying's the only emotion. And men are told not to cry, and it's not because they don't feel like crying, it's because they're supposed to bottle up and shove it way down deep inside, because they're scared of those emotions. So that's the reality. But that's how people do. They have this ideal in their head, and that's what they look for. They're just looking for that. And then similarly, they think if they can adopt the attitudes from this imaginary idea, this archetype in their brain, then they are one of those kind of people. And it's totally ridiculous because in the case of the alpha male, it doesn't matter. All the beta men have that alpha male attitude. It's just when they lock horns, they lost. Whoever won all of those horn locks in the end, that's the alpha male. It's not because his attitude's different. It's because he had the same attitude, but he either got lucky or was, stronger and managed to bash the other guy's skull in. But it could be that he bashed it in when the other guy wasn't looking just as much as that he was stronger. Maybe he just got the jump on the other guy. And I think it's better to look out in the world if you see a guy and he's a white male and he's whiny about his victimhood, that counts as a white male. Yeah, that's what that is. But he's not a real man, but he looks real in that he exists. But your picture, your dream in your head, that doesn't look so real since it doesn't really exist. So, these weird delusions, that's what we're finding. And I don't see it as a culture war. I see it as there's screaming death pains of attitudes that are obviously not long for the world.